There's just so much going on in today's video, it's hard to cram it all in. For example, right here is the real Air Max 95 Japan. Also, we're talking about the latest stuff from the channel, which is about people getting their hands on sneakers like these ahead of the drop date and for retail. Great stuff going on with that. And then of course this beautiful shoe, whereas I'm in Tokyo, Japan, so this is exactly the kind of shoe that I want to be talking about, a shoe that's signature title is Japan and all the little hits on there, and there's a hidden secret hit in the heel that many people don't know about. So a lot to get through in today's video. I'll just give you the main details as far as that early drop date and the price goes, because this is what we've been doing lately at the channel. There's a link down below in the description if you want to know more about how to get these for retail and potentially ahead of the drop date. Although I'm not sure about the drop date for overseas, I can guarantee you these are on the app, the sneakers app, for August the 16th. And if that is ahead of the due date, or the drop date I should say, not the due date, the drop date where you guys are, definitely let me know, because that's the kind of detail we're looking for. And 20,000 yen is the price tag on these guys, which is about $200. So if you're interested in this shoe, check out that video down below in the link in the description to find out all about getting these guys to you if you want them for retail ahead of the drop date. And that aside, let's park that and go back to this guy right here. This is one of my favorite shoes that I've been able to pick up in the last couple of years. Very rare for me to get shoes in my size in Japan, 30.5 centimeters. And this is a nice big chunky Air Max 95, and the two Japanese details on here, and this one's really hard to see, but hopefully what you can make out on the tongue there is a Mount Fuji right there in the tongue, which is one of the beautiful details on these guys. Not too hard to make this out on the outsole. That's the Japanese writing for Tokyo. That's the two letters To and Kyo, and of course the red Hinomaru in the middle there. And my statement that I want to make about these guys, they're actually called the Obsidian Blues, but about these guys, if that detailing about Tokyo on the outsole and having Mount Fuji on the tongue was brought into this colorway today, I think it would be an absolutely fire sneaker. As is, it's still a very beautiful sneaker that we're looking at today with some really nice hits about Japan. And I can do that, I can kind of give you a very clear, detailed account of that, because like I said, I'm here in Tokyo, Japan. I've been out here for the last 22 years, so it's been a while that I've been rocking around in the old Tokyo, banging around here in the sneaker scene. So let's go straight in there with the main detail. That thing I said earlier, there's something hidden in the heel, and hopefully what you can see behind me here is that grey element on the heel. And I'm pretty sure around about 50% of you guys out there, even with this close-up view, will not be seeing the detail that we're talking about. And it's Sei Gai Ha, I believe is the Japanese word for this kind of detailing and sort of repetitive floral design. And it's easier to see on the outsole. So let's flip these guys upside down and have a look at that outsole. Like I said on these guys, this one says Tokyo on here with the red dot for the Hinomaru, or the Japanese flag. But then on these guys, instead of having some writing, what they've got is the detailing and that Sei Gai Ha design, that repetitive flower design on there, which is very, very much Japanese. Now, since we're down there on the sole, we might as well go forward and have a look at the front end of the sole, because one of the nice little details, and again I can use these guys as an example, this is one of the best outsoles I've ever seen on a pair of shoes, but it's a consistent pattern in the outsole, whereas today it's a black outsole, but you see that red embedding towards the front of the forefoot end of these guys. So the extra red hits on the front end of the outsole that complement the red hits on the Sei Gai Ha detailing on the back end of the outsole. So kind of a neat place to start. But that Sei Gai Ha detailing there is what we're talking about. If we go back to those heels, and can you see it? Can you see what I'm talking about? We're talking about that grey rubber panel that runs up the back here on Air Max 95s. And if you look at the picture on here, you should be able to now be able to see a very, very delicate sort of embedded, embossed Sei Gai Ha sort of detailing on there. And it's super hard to see. Even when I knew it was there, I still found it very difficult to see and get notice where it was. And it's actually, I think if I remember right, it's almost like a T on the back of Air Max 95s. It's actually down towards the middle of the T that detailing is most pronounced. So it's a great little detail, great place to start this take on these shoes. There is only one other specifically Japanese detail on the shoe, although there are other Japanese elements in the actual colorway. And the final place that we want to look at for Japanese detailing is on the insoles. And this is a great thing about sneakering these days is this is the kind of shot that we used to have to look at to see what was going on the inside of shoes. But recently, very recently, like the last month or so, they've been taking out the insoles and giving us promotional materials like this right here, where you can actually see the insole taken out, and then you get a better idea of what's going on. And one of the things I would not have noticed if they hadn't taken out those insoles was that the cherry blossom detailing on them is actually different on the left and the right shoe. If you imagine that actually tucked into the shoe and you were looking down on it, you'd probably think, it's the same detailing on the left and the right shoe. But now, because of this kind of shot here, where you can clearly see that the branches and the cherry blossom branches and the sakura that's coming out on that insole, that detailing on there, is actually different between the left and the right shoe. So there's the three main Japanese hits on the shoe: that panel in the outsole, the heel, very, very discreet, very hard to see detailing on there, and then on the insole of these guys. But then if we go up to the lacing system, we get into the second part of the shoe, which is all about the reds and the whites that represent Japan on here. And the lace loops are a big detail on that very white top end of the shoe. Red lace loops on there, and you think, that's enough, pretty much done with that. But actually what you want to do is you want to zoom in on the very top lace loop, and you'll see it isn't red. And not only isn't it red, but it does have some detailing on there, and it has the word air tucked into that top eyelet, the top lace loop on there, for a little bit of definition, a little bit of detailing, a little bit of the difference. And again, going back to these guys here, one of the great features about it, you won't be able to see it on the green screen here, but this lace loop here actually has Japanese writing in it, and it says, let me see if I can get to see what it says. Just do it. It says just do it in Japanese in the writing on there. And it would have been nice in today's shoe if they'd had some Japanese writing in there as well to sort of reinforce that Japan motif. And it's not too hard to go from this top lace loop with the different colouring and the air branding on there to the actual tongues, where you see, again, like I said, there's no Mount Fuji on these tongues, just standard Air Max 95 branding on them. And then the last thing really to look at, well, maybe there's two things to look at. One is the layering that you get. It's kind of interesting layering because it's white around the laces, and if you go right to the bottom of the laces to the tongue, it's an interesting feature on these guys that they've gone with double white. You can see on these that obsidian blue in the middle panel here, and then the kind of almost sail colouring around it. But if you look at today's shoe, you'll see it's white on white, which is kind of an interesting step, but actually one that I quite like. And then you've got that kind of going from the white lacing system into the darkest of the layers, and then gradually those layers get lighter as you get towards the midsole on these shoes. And it's a kind of neat little gradient effect that you often get with Air Max 95s. And that gradient takes us down past the swoosh on the heel on the lateral side, which is in red, nice little detail there, and into the white midsole. And this is the last detail on this shoe to have a look at. And you see the white midsole with the 3 air units on the 2 on the front and 1 on the back, and those air units have the red air unit detailing on there. So that's a great way to finish up what is a very, very nice shoe, and lots of hints to Tokyo, Japan, lots of detailing in there that represents Japan and Tokyo, cherry blossoms, that kind of features, especially in the colours as well, with the reds and the whites coming through, but complemented by the greys and the blacks. But like I said at the top of this video, just imagine if that Mount Fuji there and if that outsole branding had been on these guys in this great red and white with black and grey colorway, it would have been an absolutely fire monster shoe. So it's a great looking shoe, but I think to a couple of places it could have been even better. But that's enough for today. Time to wrap this one up, finish it. It was 38 degrees Celsius today in Tokyo, monstrously hot. We were out in the little blow-up pool with my little 3-year-old girl today, having a great time. So hopefully I've got a bit of sun. Don't know if it's seeable in the camera. And it's just about time to wrap this one up. It's August I want to say the 10th today. I'm off work for a week, so I've lost track of the days. But it's important to know the dates because August the 13th is when the Air Jordan 1 Low Travis Scotts are dropping, which is a huge shoe. A lot of people interested in that. Hopefully I'll be able to get one of you guys out there a retail price for a pair of those shoes, because they don't come in my size. So, but with that being said, it's time just to wrap this one up, finishing up another video for today as we churn out this daily content and keep on pushing on. We've gone past the 2,000 subscribers part, and then the next part is to get to 1,000 consecutive days on YouTube, which we'll do at the end of August. So trucking along, keeping the channel going. But for now, time to wrap it up. Thank you guys for checking out the content. The only thing left to do is to say thank you very much, but remind you that I do this every single day, and because I do it every single day, that means that you are guaranteed to see me tomorrow.